Hey guys, Jacob here and welcome back. Before we can start spraying gel coat, we're gonna need a place to do it. Since I can't take the boat apart, the total size of the spray booth needs to be about 20 feet long by 10 feet wide by 7 feet tall, and that's in part due to the limitations of the garage. To build this, I'm gonna be using 24 10-foot sections of 3/4 inch PVC. I'm specifically using 480 psi for the increased wall thickness. That PVC is going to be cut to 12 7-foot lengths and 24 5-foot lengths. In addition to the PVC, we're going to need 16 T-couplings, 8 corner couplings, and potentially 4 straight couplings in order to increase the bottom footprint of the spray booth if we need some extra space. That's all going to get wrapped up with plastic sheeting, and I'm going to be using 6 mils to make sure it lasts a long time. The other features to note is an inlet filter and an outlet filter. This is going to be all operating on positive pressure, so I'm going to use a 20-inch box fan on the inlet filter to make sure we keep that positive pressure. Now that's a lot of work to do, so let's go ahead and get started. So all of our pieces are cut and ready to go. I'm gonna wipe them down to make sure they're clean and they don't put any dust inside of the booth, and then we'll start assembling the frame. So we're gonna start laying out the bottom periphery first, and then we'll take measurements on there to see if we need to change any dimensions in order to get the plastic wrapping to fit. To attach the panels together, I'm laying out the panels with the common sides together and running a single strip of tape to attach them. However, if I were to do this again, I would definitely run a second strip on the opposite side as well to reinforce that seam. Now that the plastic sheeting is patterned together, we're going to drape it over the frame. To do this, it's significantly easier with 2 people. Found that starting on the short side and working our way around to the other 2 sides was extremely effective. After we get most of the sheeting draped on the structure, I start pulling the seams between the top panel and the side panel to the top of the PVC from the inside and tape it into place. This allows us to tighten the sheet as we work around and allows us to drape the final panel over the structure. Alright, so now we can button up the corners and we'll be good to go. For the corners, I tape one of the panels to the corner PVC and seal the other from either the inside or the outside with tape, depending on what side I can access from. Alright, so getting close to putting the finishing touches on the paint booth. We'll clean up, pulling this in tight and everything. What I did end up having to do, as you can see on these center supports, is tension it outwards so that way the whole structure doesn't just fall right in. If I were to do this again, I'd probably get 1-inch piping at least, but that was significantly more expensive. So The other things we need to do now that these are pretty much tight is over here towards my garage door, I need to put the outlet filter. And then over in this area, once we close it up, I'm gonna put the air in right where the fan is currently pushing in. So once we seal everything up, hopefully we should get some nice positive pressure. Take a little bit of a break and we'll get right back into it. We're gonna put entrances in with zippers on this side as well as the other side, and we're gonna go ahead and cut the holes for the air vents. To make the entrances, we're going to use this self-adhesive zipper. And so it's just a zipper with adhesive on each side. So we'll be able to stick it, run it down, and then unzip and use the utility knife to cut a hole in it. And then we should have a nice sealed little dust barrier. And so I'm just going to expose a little bit of it, let the rest of it hang, and then make sure we get good contact. And then we can pull this backer down piece by piece, and then just work our way down, making sure that the plastic is nice and taut, because we want a nice adhesive contact surface. We're sticking on really well. Before we go all the way up. So now we can just use the utility blade and slice in and then all the way down. We'll try to avoid actuating that too much and give that adhesive a little bit of a time to actually cure. And same premise, you're just gonna get it started a little bit, tack it up top, make sure we get a nice seal. Start working our way down slowly at first, and then we can go faster once we get some good surface contact. And we're good to go now. Because I didn't know how tall this structure was gonna be, I wasn't able to do all this stuff while the tarp was on the floor, but if you have the opportunity, definitely do this type of stuff when the tarp is on the floor. Even the zippers will go on a lot smoother if you can actually pull that plastic out. So these filters are just, I mean, real small spun fiberglass filters. They're not really meant to purify anything. These ones are just meant to catch, you know, the paint that's going out and then filter any potential dust that's coming in. So and voila, there we go. There's our air out filter. So the air should flow from the back corner over there into this corner, so we get a nice cross flow. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking for the air in. Ideally, I would have loved to have it all the way up top here, but I just don't think that that's realistic. So we're gonna put it on the bottom so that way the fan can sit down there and I can tape around most of the edges pretty easily. And that's an air in. So we'll go ahead and tape up fan outside and we'll see how it runs. All right, the fan is all taped up.
It's not taped along the bottom, but whatever. So we'll go ahead and turn it on. Hopefully you guys will still be able to hear me. And then let's run into the booth and see what we can do. So yeah, now you can see, you know, with regards to this, because there's extra material, it's, you know, bulging on the sides a little bit, which is exactly what we want, because that means we're getting enough positive pressure in here that it's gonna force air outwards. So we won't ever spray the booth with the garage door closed, because there are chemicals in the air and we don't want to be recirculating all of that, and it's an explosion hazard. So we'll make sure to pull the garage door up at least a little bit, so that way when we do have the booth on and we're spraying, the air is flowing outwards. Now that we're done building the spray booth, we can go ahead and start painting. So in the next episode, we'll be surface prepping the holes just a little bit more with some IPA, masking everything off that we don't want to get overspray on, and then starting to mix and spray the gel coat on the top of the holes. So I'll run you guys through that whole process. It's new to me, so it's bound to be a learning experience. Stay tuned. Thanks, guys.